All right, guys. Our next guest joins us straight out of Sydney with his new Muscle Bro store opening soon in Mount Druitt in Sydney. One half of the Halfcast podcast representing Western Sydney. He's also the man who discovered Red Velvet on the streets of Chicago. Tai Tuivasa, welcome back to Submission Radio, man.
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Oh, you want to go for it, Ty? Go for it. Order your food.
I just got to do this interview and then I'll order. Sorry. So all good. Yeah. Sorry. My bad. I called before and then they called back.
You can order while you're doing the interview, Ty, because that way, by the time we finish, the food will come. Did you want to order? It's totally fine. No worries.
No, all good. All good.
All right. Well, I was gonna say Red Velvet. I know that Chicago didn't exactly go your way, but finding Red Velvet and the streets of Chicago, that's got to be a bit of a highlight, right?
Oh, she's a star. She's a star. Her album's dropping soon. She's cracked
it. I feel like you being her hype man, kind of like Flavor Flav to Red Velvet. Would that be a role that you can embrace?
It's Mud Cake and Red Velvet. That's it.
Mud Cake and Red. I feel like anytime you fight now, Red Velvet's got to make appearances in your Embedded.
She's walking me out to my next fight.
See, that's what people want in Chicago. If you fight in Australia, hopefully, they bring her down. The UFC need to take care of this. I was going to ask Ty, looking back on that fight, how would you sort of assess it? I know it didn't really go the way you wanted, but what did you sort of take away from that one?
I haven't got to watch it back properly yet, but I just feel like I got rocked in the first, and I just felt like I just couldn't get me bearings. You know what I mean? I felt like every time I thought I was going to do something, he just beat me to the punch, and I just felt, But I thought I'd come back, but not enough. Obviously not enough. But that's the fight business. That's how it goes, It's not fucking go out there and pitter patter. You get punched in the head.
Mm-hmm. I like your approach to the fight game, because even before you lost in the UFC, you always sort of mentioned that you win some and you lose some. That's the fight game, and I think it's a really good sort of mental approach to take it, because that is how the game works. You will win some, you will lose some, and that's how it plays out. But mentally right now, are you more motivated than ever to sort of get back in the gym and try and sort of work on the next fight, next outing after that?
Well, I was last fight, you know what I mean? I hit this camp fucking blazing, you know what I mean? And I trained hard. Man, I was confident. I was really confident. But like I said, I got clipped early. I think it was early. And I just felt like, fuck, I just couldn't get me, me flow back. But the same thing goes, fucking you win, you lose. That's just how it goes. But this camp's gonna, I'm gonna get back into it again. I'm gonna just sit with my team and go over it. But right now, man, I've got home. I've been busy trying to get this shop open, meetings here and there. Everything's going on, so it's all good. This is life. This is how it goes.
I was gonna say, so busy you can't even order breakfast. Submission Radio interrupting your breakfast or your lunch. I wanted to ask Ty. There was, I guess, a bit like some controversy in a weird moment in between rounds. He had a choke in. I think he might have tapped, but I think it was after the bell. Do you remember that? What exactly happened?
Yeah, no, it wasn't a tap. It was like fucking buzz. The bell's fucking going. Like, jump up. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? I'm trying to breathe, and you're fucking sitting on me. That's all it was. That's why when I remember the third round and everyone started booing, and I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, well, for one, if you don't know me or you do know me, I'm not gonna fucking tap. So that's a big, I'm not gonna tap. Especially if you got my neck, I'm gonna go out. That's just how it is. But it was more like a, come on, Buzz, like the fucking bell. It was like 5 seconds after the bell, so it wasn't like a. You know what I mean? But, yeah, that wasn't... As if I'm going to tap. I've had my knee snapped before and didn't fucking tap. Like, I'm not going to tap if you got my neck.
No, absolutely.
I don't give in that easy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, because you don't want to be at a disadvantage after the bell rings and having someone holding onto your neck when it's not
He was just on top of me. I was like, Buzz, like, come on. Get
Well, let me ask you, because obviously you've got a lot going on. You've got your new store opening up. You've got all your meetings. But of course, you failed to mention the social media exchange between you and Justin Willis. And it really seems like he's locking onto you since being released by the UFC. What did you think of this sort of weird Matrix video that he posted on Instagram where he puts his face over Neo's?
Man, he's a disrespectful piece of shit. He put a Samoan song on in the background and thought that I wasn't going to notice. But, like, he's just... That's all good. Like I said, I've been DMing him for a year, and he hasn't seen one. Not one. And I'm doing my talking, you know, trying to do it in private with him, and he just wants to be a fucking big noter and wants to be... He's a dog, an informant. He's just... Yeah, Justin, he's just showing how low he is. He doesn't have a job now. He's going to try and suck on the man's other hole so he can get back in. Suck it from the back, mate. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. What a man. What a man.
I was going to say, oh man, that's hilarious. I was going to say, you said you DM'd him and he hasn't seen it. What exactly have you been DMing him? Like, have you been trying to sort this out in private?
I've been DMing him for years, for a whole year now. And he won't look at it. He don't even look at it. He doesn't even give me the scene. You know what I mean?
What are you trying to say though? Like in your DMs, what are you sort of trying to sort out?
I'll show it soon enough because he's just a show pony. I'll say let's meet up. What do you mean? We'll be men. We'll do this. Meet up and bring a bag as well. I'll bring a bag. We both get paid. Whatever.
So were you trying to set up a fight like outside, just kind of like let's squash this outside of the UFC?
Yeah, I told him. I said once. I said yeah. I'll meet up, you bring your money, and then no cameras, and we'll see whatever.
Do you know how much money were you thinking of bringing? What was the amount?
I said 100K, make it appealing at least. But I didn't even get a seat.
Oh man!
Did you offer to fly? Did you offer to fly over there to do this, or?
Look. At the moment, he's just begging for a job. I'm not the UFC. You know what I mean? He's just trying to use my name to get a job. With a bum. Let's call it a bum. His dad would be embarrassed. He should be embarrassed. I would be.
I'm just wondering what you thought about a story that's sort of floating around that someone came up and was messing with Curtis Blades in the Fighters Hotel ahead of his fight with Justin Willis. And then Justin said he had nothing to do with it, but it was his friend who was coming up and challenging. Yeah, and he was challenging Curtis to a sparring session after Justin fights him. What do you make of that whole situation, man?
A dog. He recorded it. That's an informant. You may as well just dob on yourself.
Did it kind of remind you of the Mark Hunt situation, Adelaide? Because obviously we were there and it happened at the weigh-in. I believe you said you got as far as you grabbing him around the throat.
So you think that's like what we did to him? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm not saying that that's what you did to him. I'm saying in this situation when he was kind of, I guess, messing around, that was kind of similar to the way he was messing around with Mark Hunt.
Oh, his attitude, what do you mean? People know him now. That's why he's not around. Like, it doesn't take long for people to realize, hey, this cunt's a Gronk. Like, you know what I mean? And just people don't like him. But people that train at his own gym don't even like him. But I suppose he's just still around. He's like a rash. He's like a fly.
I'm just wondering, Tai, obviously he's been released from the UFC. He was on the MMA Hour and he wouldn't really give a reason as to why it happened. Why do you think the UFC released him?
Well, you can't, when can you start going, oh, I need to lose more weight. I need to have this much time. Like, who the fuck are you? You don't even have a belt. Like, shut up. This is your job. You know what I mean? Like, well, that's how I look at it. I'm a fighter. Like, if I need to fucking make money for my kids and someone goes, oh, you need to fight, well, guess what? Book the flights. You know what I mean? It's on. I don't think you have the right to, maybe, yes, no. Well, you're not even, who are you?
It's an interesting situation because on one side, it's a fight that a lot of people would want to see you versus Justin Willis in the UFC. It would be exciting for a lot of fans, really want to see you take him on after all of this. But on the other side of things, you're kind of the only way that he might make it back into the UFC. And for you to sort of knock it back, that's kind of worse for him in a lot of ways. So are you in a bit of a conundrum where on one side you get to fight him?
That's what I say. Bend over and suck it from the back. That's what I say. And I'm going to laugh. Because when I see him, he's going to cop it anyway, regardless.
Would you?
All talk is talk. When I see him, it's on.
Would you want this to be the next fight, potentially? Because he feels like he will make it back into the UFC, either in the next fight or at some point.
Work your fucking big titties way back in and flash whoever you got to flash. But don't flash me. I've already seen it. I've been offering you out for a year, you muppet. You know what I mean? He's not really he's just the laughing. He's pretty much the laughing stock of Australia now. Like he's not even worth putting back in there. Like once you become, you know what I mean? Cunts just want to watch him to get flogged, and then they're gonna forget about him.
I mean, this social media thing, you mentioned that he put the Samoan song in the back and he's being really disrespectful. Does it get to a point where it's just stepped over the line and it's too much? Do you feel like it's getting to that point now where he's doing too much? It's a little bit...
It's all good. It's all good. People like that get found out real quick. They get found out.
So in this situation, I guess... Would you be saying that, okay, you'll be looking towards fighting somebody else, and if he can make it back into the UFC on his own, then maybe this is a fight that goes down. But if not, you're not going to be the reason that gets him in?
I fight in the UFC. It's like me going up to you and going, oh, can you get me a bucket of chicken wings? You don't fucking work at KFC. Like, how does that work? You know what I mean? Like, oh, can you get me a family box? Well, fucking cunt, I don't even work at KFC. Like, how... What do you mean? How is that meant to... That's not... You know what I mean? It just doesn't work. And then, because it's making it worse by him trying to... Well, not trying, begging me to use my name, I'm just sitting back laughing now. But the funny thing is he can write, oh, just say yes or no. I've been trying to fight you for a year, you fucking muppet.
It's an interesting situation because... He believes in this fight. He said he was on the MMA Hour. He said that he believes he'd kill you in a fight. I mean,
yeah, but he also believes that he's in the UFC. He's not. He's delusional. He's lost. I think he's a couple. You know what I mean? We've all been for a few things, but I think he's a bit. I don't know. I don't know how anyone could stand him.
Let me ask you this, Tai. Obviously, you mentioned that you're taking some time away and you're taking meetings and you're opening your new store. What is your sort of timeline to coming back into the octagon? Are you looking at a particular card? There's this big super card with Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker that's happening at the end of the year in Sydney, it looks like. Is that something you target?
Oh, well, if it's in Australia, I have to be on it. You know, I want to be on it. But obviously, I want to get back. You know, I'm just resting up, just resting my leg. My leg kind of fucking blew out. I'm kicking, but I'm just resting that. It's nothing bad. Just need a bit of rest for 2 weeks, and then I'm back into it, bro. Like I just lost. Like cunts acting like you're dead. Like I'm sweet. Like I've lost worse things. You know what I mean?
It sounds like you're pretty fired up, right? Like after you heal the leg and after you rest a little bit, sounds like you're fired up to get back into the gym and sort of resume training.
Yeah, of course. I'm coming off 2 losses. I've never really lost like that. But like I said, it's different. The first one I got dropped, and then the fight finished. This time I went the rounds. But the internet is what it is. People think, because you lose 2, you're gonna get cut. Like. It doesn't always matter about that. I'm coming to put on a show every time I fight, you know what I mean? I hope that's why fans, they tune in to watch. As long as I keep doing that, I should hold my position, you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. And by the way, I like this relaxing music that's in the background of this restaurant. It's kind of like a zen Tai Tuivasa. Let me ask you, man, one of the great things about you is that you take humor well, and someone created a little video on Instagram of you talking about your losses. What I love about that, though, is you reposted it. You reposted it on your own personal Instagram. Then you found the guy who did it, and you were like, good job. It was funny.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons people love you so much, man.
Oh, well, fuck. If you can't, like, It's true. It was me in the video, you know what I mean? I can't sit there and go, oh, nah, it wasn't me. Like, you know what I mean? Nah, it's not true. Like, Dana White said you got released, but no, it's not true. Like, it's all a lie. Like, just keep watching. Like, it's not. I'm a realist. Like, where I'm from, is like, fuck. I was pissing myself for ages about it. I lost it. I messaged him. How about the funniest? I messaged him. I said, "Did you make it?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "You fucking little shit." I said, "You need a hiding." I said, "But I'll pay you because it's fucking funny."
Wow. What do you mean? What do you mean pay him? Like with actual money, or just like I'll pay that? Like,
nah, I mean I'll pay that. Like, that's funny. You're a funny cunt. You know what I mean? But if I see you, I'm probably gonna slap your little bum.
Warning to anyone making Thai videos. Just quickly, obviously in the meantime, you're going to be busy with this Muscle Bros store opening up in Mount Druitt in Sydney. For those who don't know, Muscle Bros, obviously like supplements, protein, that kind of stuff. What is your relationship like with Muscle Bros, and what made you want to open a store in Mount Druitt and get involved?
My brother, my best mate started it. So I've been a part of Muscle Bros since it started. Yeah, so I was always going to open one. It was just a matter of time and when. And yeah, now's a good time. So I'm looking forward to that opening. Plus, Mount Druitt doesn't have one. We got one in Penrith. We got one in Tukely. Now we're going to have one in Mount Druitt. So looking forward to that.
And there's a really cool FTA apparel. We saw there was a new T-shirt out. Tell us, what can fans expect from the FTA apparel? There's some really cool stuff coming out, I assume.
Yeah, FTA apparel. We've got some jumpers and that coming out. We've just been, like I said, I've just been busy as there's only
Do you design those yourself? Do you work with the designers on those? Like, do you have a say on what it looks like?
I have a say, but we're gonna do some more with designing and stuff and getting it out there. Like I said, there's only one of me, so I've been my missus has been taking care of that and some stuff like that. So it's good.
Nice. FTA, for those who don't know, of course, from the area, representing Western Sydney. And speaking of the area, man, we imagine there's a few half-cast podcasts coming from the location soon. When are you and Tyson coming back with some fresh episodes?
Yes, there is actually. We went to the footy the other day. Panthers versus Rabbits. Got pissed. So that was fun. We'll have some clips of that coming out soon. But yeah, we're definitely going to get more vocal and get into it, especially on the media side of stuff. I need to get into it more. So I'm pumped. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to fucking fighting again. I fucking want to smash someone.
Feel bad for the person that has to take your order after this interview. I feel like we've put you in a bad mood with all this Justin Willis talk. We apologize, people. But just quickly, is Red Velvet going to make an appearance on the Halfcast podcast? Because I feel like she should have some kind of segment.
I'm flying her over on the DAs.
That's someone who will answer the DMs. That's not going to see. That's going to get answered. Make sure to check out Ty's Muscle Bros store in Sydney's Mount Druitt, guys, and buy his FTA apparel from the area. Follow him on Twitter and Insta at Bam Tuivasa. Really appreciate your time, Ty. I could chat to you forever. Just quickly, what are you ordering? I feel like there's been a lot of hype here. What's the order?
They do these platters here. Look, Manic Organic. That's a shout out Penrith.
Nice.
They do. I think this Aussie breakfast looks good. It's like a platter thing.
Oh yeah.
Fuck. Where's the camera? Something. It's healthy. It's got sausages, hash browns, pancakes, wedges. So all the healthy stuff.
Yeah, they have the same food at the UFC PI, I believe. All right, well, enjoy the Australian platter, Ty. Thanks so much for jumping on with us, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, boys.
Cheers.
Appreciate it. Cheers.